I think that by now we're all pretty familiar with the concept of lifestyle inflation, right? The idea that the more money you make, the more money you tend to spend, and therefore the more money you need to continue to make. So even when somebody's income increases, they tend to struggle to get ahead financially, and I think that this happens for a few reasons. After a pay increase, a lot of people tend to adopt the mindset that they have earned this money, they've worked hard for this increase, and therefore they deserve to spend it and to celebrate and to treat themselves. Like if, for example, you went from making 50K a year to making 75K a year, you probably worked really hard to get there, and nobody should be able to take that from you. And work hard, play hard, right?
Okay, we're young, rich, and full of sugar. What do we do? Let's go crazy Broadway style!
Sometimes this comes in the form of big splurges, things like buying a bigger house or buying a nicer car or going on expensive vacations. But other times it's a lot more subtle and comes in the form of smaller purchases, things that we don't really pay much attention to but add up very quickly over time. Things like going out to eat more often, or buying nicer clothing, or maybe outsourcing certain tasks that you used to take care of on your own, like cleaning your house or cutting your grass or walking your dog. Maybe you've always hated cooking, so you take the opportunity to subscribe to a meal delivery box so that you don't have to worry so much about grocery shopping and preparing food every week. Seemingly small life upgrades like these tend to add up a lot quicker than we realize, and before you know it, that pay increase that was supposed to help you get ahead financially, help set you up better for your future, maybe get you out of debt, instead, it's just allowed you to justify spending even more money than you used to. I might even make the argument that these small expenses are the most impactful because they're the most likely to just fly under your radar and go unnoticed, whereas something more expensive, like let's say a luxury vacation, is something that is going to be a little bit more planned out and more thought through. Maybe. Hopefully. But these poorly thought out small expenses, they're really like death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's only $50 here and there for DoorDash. It's only an extra $100 a month for the better gym membership. It's only, and before you know it, your entire pay raise, poof, it's gone.
And it's gone.
What?
It's gone. It's all gone.
And now you need to increase your income yet again to keep up with your new, higher standard of living. And even if you do, this is probably just going to keep happening. If you've ever heard about actors or athletes or musicians, people who are multimillionaires declaring bankruptcy, this is exactly how it happens. They get into this position where they're earning more money than they ever thought they could, and so they just start spending it like water, upgrading everything to suit their new lifestyle. They hire cooks, they hire housekeepers, they hire personal assistants and drivers. They have multiple big houses with multiple big mortgages, they own 20 cars, and now they have to continue to earn a certain level of income just to maintain all of the expenses that they've taken on, and sometimes they just can't. Sometimes they just lose track. As they say, more money, more problems. In a weird way, the more money you make, the more potential you have to get into trouble with it. Reoccurring subscriptions and bills in particular can be a huge financial drain that goes mostly unnoticed, which is why it's so important to stay on top of these things and reduce your payments whenever possible. And one of the easiest ways you can do that is by switching your phone plan over to Mint Mobile, who also happens to be partnering with me on this video. As you guys know, Mint Mobile has been a partner of mine for quite a while now, and so many of you have left me comments letting me know how much you love the service and how much money you've saved since you've made the switch, and how it's basically exactly the same as what you were getting before, but just for a lot less. Mint Mobile offers all the same features you're used to, things like unlimited talk and text, access to super fast 5G, mobile hotspot, all the good stuff starting from just $15 a month. Because they don't have any stores and they don't have any salespeople, they can just sell directly to you online and save you a whole bunch of money. Despite what your current phone company wants you to think, switching over to Mint Mobile is super simple and can be done fully online in about 15 minutes, so there's really no reason to be paying more for something than you have to. If you're sick of getting ripped off and you're sick of getting overcharged and you're ready to make the switch, just head over to mintmobile.com/accordingtonicole or click the link in the description box down below. Thank you again to Mint Mobile for partnering with me on today's video. We've all heard the expression keeping up with the Joneses, right? The idea that we're all constantly in silent competition with our neighbors and our friends and our peers, just trying to make it look like we have the same things they have, trying to fit in, trying to avoid looking like we have less. Well, I have a little secret to let you guys in on. After 15 years of working with the public, I know the Joneses. I've worked for the Joneses, and they're broke. The Joneses make $200,000 a year and asked me for a payment plan when they owed me $500. I wish I was joking. Keeping up with the Joneses is far from a new idea. In fact, the expression originated in a comic strip that started back in 1913. But now more than ever, between the prevalence of social media and our celebrity-obsessed culture, people are not just trying to keep up with their neighbors and friends, but with the entire world, including celebrities and people who are just completely on a different planet financially. And all of this has led to what I call the new poor, or more so the fake rich. People who are in the middle class or the upper middle class who should be doing okay, who should be comfortable financially, but they're struggling to get by, they're drowning in debt, they're barely making it, because despite the fact that they might make an okay income, they're spending 5 times what they're making, all in effort to try to look rich. On the outside, these people look like they're absolutely killing it. They have big fancy houses with backyard swimming pools. They have cleaners and gardeners and personal trainers. They have high-end cars and the newest and fanciest of pretty much everything. But it's all fake. It's all debt. They don't actually own any of it.
Look at me! I'm a billionaire!
The house has 2 mortgages. The pool was bought with a line of credit. The cars are financed for 84 months and probably have negative equity by now. Their phones, their clothes, all their electronics and gadgets, everything's just put onto a credit card with an ever-rising balance that they're never actually going to pay off. But damn, do they look cool in all their fancy stuff.
Isn't it amazing? The same day you got a pool is the same day we realized we liked you? The timing worked out great, don't you think?
To me, it just screams insecurity and immaturity, and it's kind of sad. People are trying so hard to impress others that they don't even care that they're hurting themselves in the long run. Like they care more about what somebody thinks of them than what they think of themselves. Which is basically just a definition of insecurity. We're talking in circles here now, aren't we? My grandmother had a saying. She used to say, those who have it don't need to flaunt it. And actually, I think she was talking about people's boobs, but it applies to money too. The people who are truly wealthy, truly rich, actually have money, you probably wouldn't even know it if you met them. It's not to say that they don't treat themselves to things, but they live much more simple lives. The people who are always trying to draw attention to themselves, who are always trying to make sure that they are seen and that everybody knows what they have, those people generally don't have much at all, and that's why they're trying to get approval from others. Look at somebody, for example, like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was hella rich. Steve Jobs knew he was hella rich. We knew he was hella rich. But he didn't really care about what he wore. He wore the same thing every single day and it was nothing impressive because he didn't really care what you or I thought of him. He knew what he had and he didn't need to impress anybody. The people who are going out of their way to make sure that they have the fanciest of everything, that everybody sees what they have, that they're always trying to draw attention to themselves and try to fit in every environment, those are the people who often actually don't have as much as they want you to think that they have. They're just trying to make themselves feel better. Like most things in life, this just comes down to intention. Like, I don't think it's at all a hot take to say that most people want to be rich, but the question becomes why? If you had wealth, what would you do with it? When I ask myself this question and I think about what I would want to do if I was wealthy, material possessions are not at all the first thing that come to mind for me. More so what does is freedom. The ability to come and go as I please, to spend my time how I want to spend my time, to eat when I'm hungry, to sleep when I'm tired, to have complete control over my day rather than being stuck to a rigid job or a set schedule. For sure, being able to buy things I like would be nice, but I don't think that there's anything I like more than autonomy. There's a quote from the movie Fight Club that goes,
"The things you own end up owning you."
And I think that it's completely true. Everything that we buy, everything that we own, everything that we acquire is a liability in some way. Not only do things cost money up front to buy, and of course the time that it took you to earn that money in the first place, but simply owning something, maintaining it, using it, taking care of it, storing it, all of that costs money, all of that costs time, all of that complicates your life. Sometimes we find enough value in things to decide that we are totally okay with that cost, but a lot of the time we're not even considering it at all. Every time that you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And every time you say yes to trying to impress somebody else, you're actually just pushing yourself further backwards in life. You're sacrificing your own well-being and your own future just for the opinions of somebody else who probably doesn't care about you at all. They certainly don't care about the things that you own. The constant desire to keep up with everyone around us is nothing short of a race to the bottom. One person gets something and everybody else decides they have to have it too. But then you know what happens? That first person realizes that everybody has the same thing they have and they no longer feel important or special. And so in an effort to try to set themselves apart again, to feel superior, to look like they're better than everyone else, they're gonna yet again upgrade or increase whatever it is that they have. And now everybody once again feels the need to chase that.
Meep, meep.
The cycle just continues forever with people spending more and more money, digging themselves deeper into a hole, all in an effort to look rich. It's really dumb. I aspire to be rich one day, and I think that I will be. But to me, being rich means having complete control over my life, owing nothing to anybody, having full autonomy, being able to spend my time how I want to spend my time, and being self-assured and content with what I have. It doesn't mean buying things just to show off to others or trying to outdo everyone else. That's not real rich. That's fake rich. That's the wealthy aesthetic without the actual wealth to back it up. That is the financial equivalent of cauliflower pizza crust. It might look like a pizza crust, but it's not. The people you know who try to flex the hardest probably don't have much to show for it other than a whole bunch of debt. But the people that you've met who are probably actually the wealthiest, you probably didn't even know were wealthy. They probably live in modest homes and drive unimpressive cars and wear clothing that wouldn't make you look twice. They're probably just working class people living simple lives and being financially responsible. Because just like my grandmother said, whether you have big boobs or a big bank account, those who have it don't need to flaunt it. But hey, that's just my opinion and I would love to know yours, so leave me a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on everything we just talked about. If you enjoyed this video at all, please go ahead and hit that like button. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. You can follow me on Instagram at according_to_Nicole. Other than that, thank you guys so much as always for watching. Take care and I'll see you next week.